So, hi, welcome to the Schroeder Library's workshop on JSTOR. So, to access JSTOR, the main way to that is going to be to go under Research Tools, Research Databases. And from here, we have another access to OneSearch, and then we have our list of databases. JSTOR is going to be the second one down currently since it's listed in alphabetical order. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And JSTOR is a interdisciplinary research database with a lot of resources for humanities, but also an increasing number for the hard sciences, such as nursing, biology. We just got a whole bunch of additional databases in some of the more hard science disciplines. So be sure to continue to check it out. But once we're on this page, we have a couple options. One option we have is we can explore their collections. JSTOR has this really cool feature where you can browse collections put together by different museums, academic libraries, all sorts of different educational institutions where you can click Browse Collections. You can see different pictures and pamphlets and just the different things held within these different collections. You could type if you wanted to search something from all the collections, or you could also search for the list of collections down here, or you could just go ahead and browse. There's collection type if you're looking for that. There's contributors if you're looking for a specific institution. For example, our neighbors at Azusa Pacific University have one. We could look at what theirs is, Biola. We do not currently have any shared here, but we can look and see what our neighboring institutions are doing and just kind of see some of theirs. For example, check out Azusa. They have a collection of their presidents. They have citrus crate labels. If we wanted to look into the history of that, we can go ahead and click on that. And we can see how it's changed over the years. Maybe we want to look into that for a report on the history, or maybe we just need to find an image for an art class. From here, you can again kind of scroll through. You could play with the dates if there's a specific date or time frame you're looking into. Otherwise, you could go ahead and just find one that looks interesting. You can click on that. You'll have that more information of the stable URL, which will be JSTOR's equivalent of the permalink, as well as any of the other citation information if you needed to cite this. You do still need to cite images, but we do have all that information here to be able to do that. We also have their little pre-made citation, which we can double check against the citations on our citation lib guide to make sure it's correct and copies over correctly as we're dragging it to wherever we need to take it. From here, you don't have to go back. You can see where it says 2 of, in this case, it's 313. You can use this to flip through some of the other images within the collection. So that way you're not just always going back and forth. You can also see down here in the related image, see some of the things. Some of them are going to be in ours, others might be in different collections. Again, you can kind of see some of these. Yeah, this one's different collection. But we can zoom in, we can zoom out, depending on how much detail we're looking for. It's a great way to find images if you're ever assigned to need to find images. But that is the sort of overview of the collections. Again, we could also search. If we go back, maybe we want to see if a little too far. But maybe we want to see if we have any collections related to, we'll say, civil rights. And this is bringing back all those different results in the collection. again, over by the content type, we could narrow that down if we're looking specifically for images and we're trying to find photos. Just because I know some professors assign requests to find photos. JSTOR is a great resource for that. We find documents, newspaper clippings, all sorts of different things held in the different collections through these different museums and libraries. Heading back to our main page, if you're looking for articles, you could go ahead and just start with this search right here. You could either type directly in here, or I like to go to the advanced search. From here, we're going to type in our terms. For example, maybe we're still looking for civil rights as our term. We can add this to everything or only content you can access, which we'll go ahead and leave as that for now. If you wanted to narrow the results to specifically books, articles, reviews of books, you could do that here, as well as we have that publication date limiter if it needs to be within the last 5 years, if we're looking for primary sources that we want within that date of when things were happening, if there's a specific element within civil rights that we're looking into. And then from here, we also have a list of journal filters. I like to save this for the next step, but you can kind of see some of the different titles that are coming up or categories, along with a list of approximately how many different results are coming in each of these. For now, I'll go ahead and leave that out so we can see what comes back and then narrow it down from that next step. An advanced search. And here we have over 800,000 different results, which is going to be a lot to go through, so we'll want to narrow it a little bit more. We could narrow it down to just journals. One super neat thing about JSTOR is that it does narrow down to just book chapters, so it won't just give you the book, it'll give you the chapter, so you don't have to go hunting through the entire book to find the one chapter or page that talks about what you're looking for. You can jump directly to that chapter and find it a little bit more easily. There's also research reports. Again, we could narrow it down to the date, and then we again have those lists of the subjects, kind of like the journal, but this one is, instead of overarching titles, it'll be the actual number of items within that. So we could see different results that are coming back. And then we also have language, if that matters. Most of them are going to be in English, but you do have the option of including any other languages if you speak any of those other languages, or narrowing out any of those languages if you don't speak any of those languages and you seem to be bringing back a lot of results in a different language. You do have that as an option. Also narrow it down to books if you wanted the entire book. But again, we'll go ahead and book chapter. We can see by clicking on the title, it takes us directly to that chapter. We could also see the table of contents of the book and jump around to the other chapters available within that book. But we also don't have to if we don't want, or we've found specifically what we're looking already. As I mentioned, JSTOR, they call it a stable URL instead of a permalink. But if you needed to save this article for yourself or to email it to a group of classmates, if it was a group project, professor, librarian, if you had a question about this source, this is the link you would want to use rather than the search bar link, because again, the search bar link will expire. This one will not. We also have the pre-made citations available here, where you have that pre-made citation all ready to go. Again, always double checking, since sometimes formatting can get thrown off when you're transferring things from one form to another. Hopping back, if we wanted to look specifically for journals, we could do that. Once we found it, we can again either click directly on the title, or you could click to download it. That'll let you download it so you have access to it. And then we can scroll through and we can read it and we can find what we're looking for our research. Hopping back, we can also click directly on the title. JSTOR, by virtue of being JSTOR, is primarily going to be peer-reviewed sources. But if you wanted to double check that, there are a couple ways to do that. One way is to, from this page, go ahead and locate the journal title. For example, this one is from the Journal of American Studies, so we'd go ahead and click on that. And then from here, we can check if it says anything over here, or in this little blurb, we can look for if it says peer-reviewed, or we could even just do a find. Yep. Journal publishes original peer-reviewed research, so we know the article that is from this journal is going to be a peer-reviewed article, and we're able to use that if that's a requirement your professor has. Again, by nature of being JSTOR, most of these are going to be peer-reviewed, but you do have that as an option to double check if you'd like to. Back, we have a list of related articles. If we wanted to find some similar articles, we have that as an option. There's a related images tab for certain ones where you may be able to find related images. If you're trying to do it for a presentation or where you need an image, have that as an option. You can also see the references to be able to access that without having to scroll all the way to the works cited page. But that is the basics of the searching tool. One final thing that I will leave you with is, in my opinion, one of the coolest things that any of our databases offer is if you go to Tools, Text Analyzer, and this is only on JSTOR. If you found even just one article that's either what you're looking for or close to what you're looking for, you can go ahead and upload it from here once you've downloaded it from your computer. It's going to take a minute. It's going to think about the article you sent, and it's going to come up with what it considers to be the most relevant key terms, and it suggests some other similar articles that it thinks are relevant to your research, and you can make those adjustments based on the importance of the key terms, any terms that might be missing. For example, maybe it's an article that's absolutely perfect, except for it doesn't mention this one aspect of your research. Add in that aspect as an additional term. For example, maybe we wanted to look at civil rights, but libraries' role in protecting those or fighting for those. We could go ahead and add a key term of library and librarians, and it'll adjust the list of key terms. Maybe we don't care about the Black feminist theory aspect of the article, but we do care about university presses and want the United States. And these maybe, or maybe we don't care about the university presses, but it's still interesting and we're open to it. We see a whole list of additional suggested key terms that we can use to add in additional terms that we can emphasize or de-emphasize depending on the scope of our research and what we want to find resources on, as well as see some big names in the field or who may have written about or been written about that you could add in as terms. You could add in locations if that's something that's relevant. You can add in organizations depending on what's coming up based on that initial article you started with. And then from here, we have all those same features of downloading the article, citing it, just clicking on the title to access the article directly, like so. And then here we have the article. Alternatively, we can also edit, again, that publication year and the content type that we're bringing back if we're looking specifically for articles, books, pamphlets, whatever you're looking for and the criteria that have been set forth for your sources. You have those as options. And then you can scroll through and continue to see what you need to find for your research. But that is the basics of JSTOR. Are there any questions? Right. If there are no questions, I'll go ahead and end the recording, and I'll stay on for a few more minutes for any additional questions. Otherwise, you're free to go. Thank you for watching and happy researching.